So interestingly, Taonga, I have a particular friend who was talking to me about land because there was a story about some guy who's making dozens of money and he doesn't even have land or he's renting. And she says that it's okay to live in a rented house. It's actually it's a better priority to have a rented house than build a house at a younger age, and that buying land and building should be for a later stage when you actually feel like you're ready to invest. I don't know, is it just me? What do you think? I mean, I also had the same perspective. I'm like, I think you saved a lot of money. Not just that. Thank you so much. Thank you. So Kahoni, we are just tabling down the issue of buying your own house or renting a place. I mean, I would. Why not? When's your next birthday?
Very soon.
We have new land. Don't worry, we'll get you some land. But what do you think? Would you rent a house or buy the land?
I would buy the land personally. I feel like having expenses that you constantly have to feed become very tiring, and they deprive of a lot of other things. But where you have something that you just have to purchase once, and you can focus on other projects, and one project is a better thing for me. That's my perspective.
And also adding on that value, the value of land is steadily increasing. So if you buy today, and 20 years from now,
you're going to have something.
Yes,
they're going to have something.
That's true. So enough about land. There's a pressing issue that I think we need to address today, and this is actually originating from an issue that is everywhere, but I would personalize it for a bit. Is that okay? Alright, so I have a friend who, I was going through a particular situation, and my friends felt I was not open to them, and by the time I was over it,
which friends are these? They were other friends elsewhere.
By the time I was done going through it, and I just briefly talked about it, they felt that I was not being open enough and just sharing my issues.
They wanted to be
the saying a problem shared.
But tell them that you have other friends. But tell them that you have other friends.
I think for me, it's not about me loving them or not. It was just I didn't feel they presented that atmosphere for me.
No, I understand you. I feel the same way. I'm not going to show everybody everything. I feel like there are certain people who are more comfortable expressing certain sides of myself with, and others where I'm more reserved.
That's true.
Because truth be told, I'm very dramatic, I'm very loud, but the whole doesn't know that. A few people would actually think I'm very quiet, I'm more reserved, which those are parts of me. But then there are other things that I would rather not show to certain people because, as you said, I may love them and whatnot, but I don't know their heart towards me, or their heart towards me doesn't allow me to be that.
Yes,
they might use it against me. Not that they're bad people or anything like that, but
I get you. I
everything.
I think also for me, it's not that I didn't trust them. I knew I could share with them. I just didn't feel that they cared in that moment.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't realize it. It could be that in their heads they thought they were there. They did present that atmosphere.
Yeah, maybe that's going to be a good thing.
Yes, but I personally felt that they just weren't there for me. Even I did present the situation in subliminal ways. I didn't come out directly because it was a hard situation and I wasn't too open about it, but the response wasn't too
it wasn't open.
welcoming.
And I think people should also realize that it's not very easy for someone to open up. I bet even them have things that they don't just don't know.
It's not everybody you want to be, you're not most free with everybody. And that's just something we have to come to terms with.
But I feel one way you can get involved in somebody's life, if you want to get to know the side of them that they don't always showcase, or if you want them to open up to you, is now to show them that you care. And I don't mean, the thing about showing people that you care or you love them is not that it's not mechanical. It's not like today I'm waking up and I'm going to show this person that I love them. I feel like during those times, it doesn't really come
Yeah.
off and communicate loudly. It's really
I get you. I feel like there's a thin line between you genuinely caring about me,
Yes,
genuinely
exactly.
wanting my best interest, and me becoming a charity project to you. Like,
That's
let me
true.
just help her because I like helping people.
Yeah,
true.
But let me be with her because I just like being with people, and where I genuinely care about you, and I genuinely want to see things in your life flourish. You as an individual, I'm not trying to use you or trying to gain points for being kind.
Coming from a
Yes,
safe place.
yes.
and it shows. It really does show. Like even if you're not being intentional about showing somebody that you love them, they can
Yeah.
see it if it's genuine.
Yeah.
And yes, and which actually comes down to our relation with God in terms of how He responds to us as His
Yeah, I feel like
children.
people overlook God's response. Like everybody
Yes.
thinks God is just there, like,
Yes.
we shall come. Let me.
So guys, you know how God loves everyone, but not everyone loves Him.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can be in a situation where you're pouring yourself out to a certain, let me just say, a certain group of people, but in that group you find, say, only one loves you back.
Yeah.
And to some extent we find that's the same person that we're pouring ourselves to naturally.
You know, I'm putting myself in God's shoes. I can imagine all these people, 1,000
God's shoes.
God and never like this. God cares like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking so that there are these people who only come when they're having problems. There are those who only come when they want some increments in their life or something like that. And then there's this guy who's always coming to listen to, you know, everything that you have to say. This guy who just wants to spend time with you, even for just sitting and we're just talking. I mean, obviously, you're going to feel more inclined to expressing yourself to this
That
person.
kind of a person.
Because you know this person, okay, imagine if I'm only coming to you when I need stuff. The day you say no, you will feel like I may just do something. If you share your secrets, I may just go expose them to the whole world.
I think
Because I'm only coming to you for certain things. Unlike this guy who genuinely loves you
it's always.
and is always there, and during
That's
the
true.
good, during the bad, whatever is happening in my life, I just make it a priority that Dong and I, we must talk. We must talk no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel it also is in relation to parenting. Because as a parent, it is natural that you should love your children. But sometimes when life goes haywire, which shouldn't be the case, but you find there are certain issues that you have with your children, and there are those children who just naturally respond to you and give you that place as a parent.
Yeah.
And then there's a point of there's a place of rebellion for some, which is not in every case, where they stop respecting you in that capacity to some point. But I feel as a mother, especially in motherhood, you know, this is why you see like this child does so many things.
Yeah.
But the mother is just still loving that child, because that's a mother's heart, and I feel that's how God is towards us. Although you would still somehow favor, I don't know if I should use the word favor, but you'd be inclined towards that child who's obedient.
And it's not
more
something that you decide.
responsive.
It's not like you say, I want to do this one. It just
it's a
happens
natural
naturally
thing,
because
yes.
of the kind of relationship you have.
Exactly. So I feel that's exactly the same thing with God, and that's why He reveals Himself to those that love Him.
Yeah, yeah. Oof, that's
She's not the deep one.
I'll say that again.
Yes, God reveals Himself to those that love Him.
And not those He loves. So He can love me, but not necessarily reveal Himself to me because
Yeah.
I don't want to love Him.
Yes, I'm sure. You know what's going on in my mind is okay. What's there to reveal? I'm thinking God has secrets because I can bet my index finger that the same things that Abraham was listening to are not the same things I'm listening to. Because that man had faith, and there are many other soldiers who can point at who've had relationships with God like that, who've grown to understand Him, who've taken deliberate steps towards Him. I can imagine that God had shown other sides of Himself, because I know that what I know about God isn't all there is.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much more to learn. There's so much more to His mind and to His heart. And then I feel like for me to learn those things, it's a matter of getting to know Him. It's a matter of gaining a certain place in His heart.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, and in addition to what you have said, I think one beautiful thing about God is, despite that, even the people that don't necessarily seek Him, He is still chasing them down.
Yeah.
Like, you know how He leaves the 99 to chase that one sheep.
Yeah.
And so for somebody, I would say it this way, it's not that He's a biased God who will say, who's petty to say, this one doesn't love me, this one, you love me, I'll love you back. Like,
No, it's not
a
like
two-way
that.
thing. It's more of, a response. So even for those that don't love him, he's still chasing them and wanting them back and trying to seek them. But for those that actually do love
Chasing back.
he reveals himself at a different dimension.
So it's not a question of does he love me? He loves everybody. It's about which secrets am I telling you?
Yes.
And I would also like to highlight the fact that in as much as there's really so much to God, and I think I see this in how he interacted with the devil.
Yeah.
You know, the devil was unlocked, or he had access. Sorry. he had access to so much of God's secrets, and because his heart wasn't really for God but for what God had, he ended up being cast down. And I'm not saying that many of us will be cast down, but I'm trying to say your heart won't reveal so much.
Your heart has qualified you and disqualified you for certain things.
He's so great.
I want to tell you something, but you don't have a best.
So there's just so much, but he can only reveal what's there if you love him.
Yeah, you know, I think the aspect of revealing himself is, you know, secrets, certain mysteries. For example, you hear certain men of God say things like general, and you be like, anyway, you and I have been reading the same Bible.
Yes.
You and I are sharing the same things from God. So what is it that you've been doing that I haven't been doing? The difference is this person has been taking time to get to know God. This person has been sitting at his feet, has been listening to him, has been, you know, being attentive with God. And you know, not like the way I've been doing it. So obviously there are other things he heard. The times I was sleeping, somebody else was listening.
Yes.
The times when I was
the extra effort.
Yes, the extra effort.
Sacrifice.
Exactly.
Time.
Exactly.
And
there are certain revelations you'll be like, Emma, you heard that from God. God doesn't tell me things.
And I think it's the same thing about hearing God, where most people think, because of how things are dramatized sometimes, but other times they are not dramatized. People do hear God. When people don't hear God, they feel like he's got a different heart disposition towards them. But that's
actually
not
had
true.
conversations with people like that, where they'll tell me things like, you know, I've been doing this church thing for a long time, but me, I've never had the experience.
These things like, where was God when I was asking all these questions and whatnot? I feel like it's just wrong understanding and misconception of God and the spiritual
you didn't answer what you wanted, or you didn't understand his answer.
Yes, or you didn't hear him when he was talking. You recognized his voice, but not to drift too far away. I wanted to even add on to what Tawanga said about how the devil had access and whatnot and what disqualified him. It just made me establish from what you said about sorry, what did you say?
Many things.
Before, right after Tawanga talked about the devil, I think you spoke about Okay, so I feel after everything, it all comes back to the heart.
Okay, so it's a matter of you.
Of the heart, yes.
How much you're going to get of God is dependent on you. It's not on God's side, it's on you.
Yes, so he does gauge our heart's disposition, no matter how much we can come here, be in front of the camera, talk to each other, whatnot. The truth is, God is seeing the intentions and the motives,
and also,
that's
looking at what you said there, there might be someone out there who complains, God, I don't hear you, don't show me things. Why do you show that one thing? I think he sees your heart. If he gave you the ability or the access to see certain things, what you would use that ability or privilege rather could be some things that
exactly. I think the deception is some people in their heads they think they love God because they've been they've been doing this routine of going to church. Perhaps at home you have evening prayers and whatnot, but in your hearts of hearts, you don't love God. You may think, no, I love this guy. I give offering at church. I do all the things I must do. But then when you look at the time you can control, because these are things you're forced to go to church. You know, you may go because they know you're forced to go to church. You're forced to go to church. If those circumstances were not around you, and with the excess time that you have, where is it really going? Like, where is most of the time going?
Yes.
Where are most of your energies going? What's really going through your head most of the time? Is it really God?
And I
think they can shoot God, that's the problem.
But for the fact that we don't see you, they think that I can find my way.
Let's go get a few coins at church.
That's true. You know what's funny? You guys have just taken away my point. But it's back. So So another thing that hinders people from actually opening up to God entirely, because the point we're saying is that God reveals himself to those that love him, right? Another barrier to loving God is having this biasness without actually being real with yourself and open with God, and just letting go of the preconceived notions and the wrong conceptions.
Wrong expectations.
Yes, wrong and wrong information about God. So I feel upon letting all of that go, then your heart becomes sincere.
I want you to teach me who you are.
And God sees that. It's different if I heard stuff about you, Taonga, from perhaps Kahoni, and she's been feeding me all this information, and it's worse when it's for the longest time that I've always been hearing stuff and negative stuff about you. The day I'll meet you, I'll probably have a preconceived
enemies.
Yes, especially
my mother's friends.
Yes.
I can laugh with the daughter.
Yes. So I feel even if you're being nice about it, if I've had this information for a long time, it's louder than what I'm seeing already. And I feel that's the challenge with people and God. It's that because that wrong information is clouding your judgment, even when God is revealing himself to you or trying to, the reason he can't reveal too much is because, or he can't go to a certain level, is because that is overclouding your judgment. There's too much of a barrier.
He's trying to show you this other side of him, this soft and but in your head you feel like I must feel some electricity.
And it's worse when it's coupled with emotions. You're already angry at God. You have so many questions about
like
him.
It's the cause of your
yes, and so much doubt. So I feel we need to really become sincere if we want to see more of God.
It takes coming to a place where you can say, you know what, God, I'm here and I want you to teach me you.
Yes, genuinely.
Surrender and vulnerability.
Yes, you need to be vulnerable with him. Like,
yes, just like my very first point about like friends, you know, I can't be vulnerable.
Exactly. Like, look, what I heard about you, actually, I heard that you make people fly. I heard that I'm supposed to faint for 10 hours and go to some place where I meet you, but right now I want to hear it from you. Like, I want to experience you for myself.
Know about expectations.
Yeah, and getting the right information, as you said. Because somebody would think, no, getting information for myself, meaning I'll stay away from church, I'll be going alone on my own at home. No, I feel like finding the right people who can hold your hand to God and you know, this guy that they've been telling you about, this is not Jesus. This is somebody else. And paint the right picture of God in your heart, where when you see him, you actually realize, actually, this guy has been talking to me for a long time.